Now, Southern California's first high-definition news. Eyewitness News, Sunday morning.
And we continue to cover breaking news out of Universal City, where a fire is burning on the Universal backlot. Well, good morning. It is Sunday, June 1st. I'm John Gregory.
And I'm Lisa Hernandez. That raging fire caused serious damage at Universal Studios. It's been hours battling this blaze for firefighters there from both city and county departments. It is now contained to a few buildings on that lot. Fire officials just held a news conference a few minutes ago. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride is live and joins us with the latest from the command post. Melissa.
Lisa and John, good morning. The fire is under investigation. The cause is unknown at this time, and we don't have a damage estimate. As part of that news conference, not only were we hearing from fire officials, but also from President and COO from Universal Studios, Ron Meyer, who's joining me now live. Ron, we've been seeing Air 7 overhead showing video of video containers that are being pulled out of a building. Can you tell us what has been lost?
Well, we're not sure what the damage is yet, but it did affect our video vaults, and some has been saved, some has been lost. We have to evaluate what that damage is.
Now, we understand that it is possible to replicate some of the videos that have been lost?
Well, none of the masters are there, so copies are what will be lost, but we do have the ability to replicate them all, and we will do that.
And the film, that was of concern earlier, but the film negatives, from what we understand, those are untouched, right?
Right. The film library is safe. There's a film vault that was next to where the fire was, but that's been saved. And frankly, although it would have been terrible for anything to happen to that, we do have duplicates of that as well.
That's good to know. The area where it started, New York Street, also Courthouse Square, areas where folks at home have seen several movies and television shows filmed. How is this going to affect production on the lot?
Well, it'll affect a TV show that's shooting on the lot right now. They do have 8 different locations on the lot. That's Ghost Whisperers, but it'll affect 2 of their locations, and I'm sure they will find a way to adjust for it. So that's what will be most immediately affected.
Some of these other buildings that we've been seeing from the air, the fire department thought that there were props that were housed in some of those buildings. Are you aware of some of the contents that may have been damaged, in addition to the videos?
Well, no, the only other building that was damaged besides the New York Street was and the library was the King Kong attraction, which has been destroyed.
How extensive is the damage to that building and the attraction?
Well, I would think that's totally destroyed. I would think that's not salvageable the way it is now.
I know that you were very thankful to the firefighters out here doing a tremendous job trying to get a handle on this, and they said that it was extremely difficult to fight.
Well, I can't say enough about them. I know everybody probably recognizes the great work they do, but they're really quite heroic and extraordinary. They showed up in record time and really contained what could have been an out-of-control, very serious fire. It's bad enough, but they really were just quite extraordinary and made a bad situation about as good as it could possibly be.
We've had some pretty heavy smoke in the area. It seems to be dissipating a little bit. How is that going to affect the theme park?
Well, the theme park will open today at noon, as will City Walk, and tomorrow the studio will be fully operational, as well as the tour, and we'll be back in business as normal.
Okay. There was talk about a bomb threat. Was that just some sort of a bizarre rumor that got started? What is your knowledge of that subject?
It was a bizarre rumor. No one here has had any knowledge of that at all, not any of the police, not our police, within the studio, and not the sheriff's department. So, no, there's been no bomb threat that anybody has heard of.
Okay, Ron, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thanks.
And again, the damage estimate, we still don't know from this fire that started early this morning at about 4:40 on the back lot of Universal. They are still going to open up the theme park, and we know that the King Kong attraction has been damaged, as well as you heard Ron talking about the video vault. But anything that has been lost will be able to be duplicated. And firefighters, when he was talking about the hard work of the firefighters today, some of the things that they did that they don't normally do when they're fighting a structure fire like this, they brought in air support. They had water dropping helicopters working this fire early this morning, and then they got kind of creative, not just relying on the fire hydrants that are on the property and some of the other fire suppression avenues that they have available here, but they hooked up hoses into the ponds and lakes that are on the property to give them some additional support to try to put this fire out. They're still looking at several more hours of this firefight. Reporting live at Universal City, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, Melissa, thank you. And part of the reason for those aerial drops is they were having some water pressure problems in battling this blaze. They're looking into why that was such an issue. On the phone, joining us now is David Klassen. David, you work at Universal Studios, is that correct?
I used to work there. I started there back in the mid-'70s.
I've
worked there many different times.
You've been watching the shots from Air 7 HD, I assume. What's your take on what's been lost?
Well, so far, all of New York Street, Brownstone Street, which used to have the Sting drugstore, from the Sting, the movie, the Sting Alley, parts of Courthouse Square. The courthouse is still there, but the rest of that square is gone except for what used to be called New England Street, which is the northmost side of that street. What I'm looking at burning right now used to be called the Backlot Mill. That's the right-hand side of that building with the big door was a mill. Now, the other side could be the video vault. I don't know. But years ago, it used to be the Backlot Mill. That's where they prefab new sets for upcoming movies that are on the back lot. So it saves them time going from the mill that is farther up towards Lancashire to the back lot. So they'll, make the cornices, do the sculpting, do windows, doors, all those kind of detail elements. And
David,
that's what I see right now. And you can see the tank in front of it. We used to use that for close-up shots underwater, that round tank.
Mm-hmm, yeah, we do see it.
David, we've gotten several calls into the Eyewitness Newsroom, people concerned who live in the surrounding communities. They're smelling this fire. It smells very odd because of what's burning. We know the video vault, part of it is still on fire. This isn't the first blaze, though, to affect this area, right? There was one back in 1990.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the backlot burned then, and it's like my old alma mater. I started there in the mid-'70s, like I said, and, New York Street and Brownstone Street and that whole area was just fantastic to go through, and the tour, goes through it, and you can see the Kong building is totally destroyed. But it's nostalgic, and I'm sure they'll bounce back and build it back up once again, and it'll be another place that everybody can go to. But what they're smelling is probably a lot of things, from insulation and wood and, roofing materials and paint and, mineral spirits and all that stuff. And there's nothing you can do about that when you have a fire of this kind of size.
David, the take we're getting from firefighters and Universal City officials is that as terrible as this looks, it sounds like everything is replaceable. So, granted, we have lost some history here, but it sounds like this could have been a whole lot worse. Thanks for joining us. Certainly appreciate your perspective on what you're seeing as well.
You bet. And just to let you know, the film vaults are to the left of the picture right now.
Okay.
And they're not even close.
Great. Thank you, David, so much for that help. We want to get a check of the forecast of meteorologist Indra Peterson's. Obviously, it's great news that weather is cooperating, Indra.
Yeah, it's the one piece of good news we have for you. The weather's pretty mild today. Here's your live Mega Doppler 7000 HD this morning. As we scan the skies, no, we're not seeing rain, but we did see it.